Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram and Etsy. I'm filming this on Saturday afternoon. The sun is streaming through the window, so I have tried my best to sort of make it as good a light as I possibly can. And it will be going out on Sunday morning as part of your Sunday morning briefing, because I've got such poor internet that it takes overnight to upload anything. Now I have to tell you, this is my third go at this afternoon. I just kept fluffing it every time, and so if I repeat myself, it's because I think I haven't said it before in this clip, but I might well have done. So you might have to bear with until I get into the bit that I haven't already had a go at. So how's everyone's week been? Mine has been challenging. I'm sure everyone who's doing homeschooling will know what it's like. Home teaching is just the same. I had upwards of 200 emails one day to try and do, as well as teaching and dealing with everything else. So a little bit frazzled, Part of the reason I'm filming this afternoon is because I've got another video to make this evening, well, to be part of. My partner is a sports masser, amongst other things. He's one of those people that does different things at different times of the year. So I've probably told you before, he's a dolphin watching guide as well, which he is, but that's in the summer. So anyway, he's been doing a course as part of his sports masser development, using these things called rock pods, which are those little sort of squeezy cups that fit on, and they're supposed to help with all sorts of things. And so for his qualification, he's actually got to make a video of him doing a treatment and then upload that so that he can be assessed on that. So yours truly is going to be led on the massage couch this evening, being part of that video. Now, don't anybody think that this is going to be a nice experience, because this is a sports massage, but it might help clear these headaches that I've been having this week. He sort of, midway through the week, he grabbed my head and sort of tried to move my scalp, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, your scalp should move. I'm like, well, it doesn't. He said, I know it doesn't, it should do. So that might explain why you've got headaches. So so that's what I should be doing this evening, hence why I'm filming this afternoon. Right, I have got all my usual things to show you. It won't be as long a video as last week, but that's mainly because I haven't got such an epic amount of haul. I do have a little bit, but not loads. I've got 2 finishes, I've got my projects that I've been working on this week, I've got a freebie, and I've got a little tiny bit of haul. So I'm going to start with my first finish, and this is my first finish. This is Santa's Workshop, which was in the 2015 Christmas edition of Punch, Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, which I bought an online download for from their website. I think there was a 20% off deal as well, so it was a bargain. But even without that, there's so many patterns in these magazines that they are absolute bargains. So this is my finish. I literally just made it into the tag that they said, put a little bit of ribbon when I sewed it together, put the key on the end of it, sewed it round, sealed it all up, and it's got just a little bit of red polka dot on the back. I think I was going to go for tartan, but I didn't have any tartan, and I haven't been anywhere to get any tartan, so it's red polka dot. And you can see there I have used 32 count vintage country mocha from Zweigart, and I've just used a couple of buttons that PuntiniPuntini Paola sent me, which you'll have seen in the last video. So I'm super pleased with the way that turned out. I think it's so cute, and I can't wait to sort of display it next year, so it can hang like that, or it can sit on the mantelpiece or on the fireplace. And so that was my finish for the monthly Orny Sal, hashtag monthly Orny Sal, which I'll put across the bottom. I don't know what I'm going to do next month. I think it's going to be a Halloweeny one. I might finish the witch, which is the one I showed you last week on perforated paper, or I might show you, or I might do something else. You never know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do from one week to the next, so if I ever tell you I know, it's a lie. My second finish I'm really pleased with, and this is where I paused the video before, mainly because in this I've used a nut and a bolt, and I think I got the nut and the bolt the wrong way around. I think I was talking about the bolt when I meant the nut, and the nut when I meant the bolt, so I turned it around. This is my finish. So this is October 31st. This is what I stitched actually for Becca's from Sunbury Stitches birthday sal, where you had to stitch on a blackbird. Or you could stitch on a blackbird. And so this is the clock face that I showed you last week that I'd had and that I wanted to do something with. And so all I've done, I've made this centrepiece completely separate, so it will just lift straight off the clock face if I change my mind or I want to do something different on the clock face, hence why I can still move it slightly. So what I did was I made a circle, I cut out a circle of mount board and I put some wadding on the top, and then before I did that, in the middle of the mount board I put a hole, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to put a bolt down through the middle of that hole. So you can see on the back there is a bolt and the nut, which I now have realised I'd got completely the wrong way around. Don't let me do any DIY in your house, it'll be terrible. So, piece of mount board, and I pushed the bolt through. Then I put some padding over the top. Then I put my design on and did the running stitch all the way around, pulled it in, and then sort of took my thread across the back and across the back and across the back, exactly like you would if you were making the top of a drum. If you want to have a look and see how that can be done, if you go on to Vonna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitchers YouTube channel, and have a look at how you make a drum, that's exactly how I made the top of that. And then I put that through the middle, and I put a bolt, no, I put a nut on the back, and all of this then now will lift off if I wanted to, but I'm pretty happy with the way that's finished, hence why it's not so tight that I can't just adjust it very slightly to make sure it stays in the middle. If I got a pair of pliers, then I know what they are, I can use pliers, and tightened it, I could get it so it wouldn't shift at all. And then around the outside I have put this gorgeous beaded trim. Now the trim is attached to this front piece as well, so like I said, the whole thing would just lift off if I want to. And this is the trim. Now I bought this from a little haberdashery sewing shop in Morpeth in Northumberland. My partner's parents are from Northumberland, so we went to visit there. Oh, we haven't seen them for 12 months, but in the land before time, BC, before Corona, when you could go places and do things, I bought some of this trim. Now I seem to remember that it was really, really expensive, or should have been really, really expensive, something like about £8 a metre or something like that, or £10 a metre, but because they only had a small bit left, they were selling it. So I think I only paid about £3 for the length that I had. And it's just made up of all of these gorgeous little seed beads. Now you just cut it like you would a normal trim, and a few beads will fall off, but then they'll get to a point where they are all tied in. How it's made, I have no idea. That is beyond me, but you can. So all I did was literally, before I mounted this on the front, I glued the trim around the outside, put a little bit of glue at the bottom just where the join is, which you can't really tell, and then there's my finished piece. So I'm really, really happy with that. So I could put that on a wall or on a shelf, just in with my other bits and bobs. So that has turned out exactly the way I hoped it would. I did try a few other little bows and bells and whistles and things like that on it, but it just didn't suit it. But because you've got this frame with the numbers, I think it's enough. So super happy with that. I didn't think I'd done that much stitching this week, but I think actually looking back I have. I'm pretty pleased with what I've gathered together. So I'm going to show you what I've got and what I've been working on, and we'll see where we go from there. I've had a couple of new starts, couple of carrying on from where I was, and I did a bit of work on Whip Go as well. So this was my first, I'll just take it out of the packet because it's probably will glare up otherwise. This is my first start this week, and this is the January monthly, it's called When I Think of January, the January monthly series by PuntiniPuntini, which Paola very graciously sent me all the way from Italy. If you haven't checked Patchwork Rabbit has got loads of PuntiniPuntini on order at the moment, so do make sure you get yourself along there. And I know Chris from the Nimble Thimble's got quite a few charts in as well, so you can always give her a call. They don't have a website, but just give her a call at the shop and she will more than help you out. So this is my start. I'm stitching this on 32 count even weave in the colour beige by Zweigart. It's one of the ones that I bought from Amazon. Oh, there's nothing left on Amazon, is there? Yeah, after that little tip, it rapidly disappeared. I kept sort of going back and having a little search, and I think within 24, 36 hours, there was not a single piece of this sort of type of fabric that I've been telling you about available on Amazon. They do restock, so do keep an eye if you missed or you want a bit more. So that's where I am on this. I have been using the colour suggestions on the chart, but I have been just doing my own actual colours. So for the scarf, I've picked out a light blue Weeks Dye Works, and then I've got another blue to go in with it. The brown is just a bit of Havana that I had kicking around. Literally I had one length of it left, so I used it. I keep a ring of all my sort of fancy floss that I'm part skeins, and I just keep it next to my chair. So if I think I can use a bit to finish something off or substitute a colour, then I will do. And it just, you know, otherwise it's out of sight, out of mind. I'm a very lazy stitcher. So there's my progress on January. So I'm hoping that I might be able to get that finished next week, because it would be nice to have the January one done actually in January. I'm thinking I'm going to finish them as pillows, but I'm not 100%. I'm not 100%. What else did I do? I decided that I had better start addressing some of my Whip Go. And for me, the two things that were called in Whip Go this month were a Most Noble Pursuit, which is the one I've worked on, and also my Burgundy Eye Stitch Band Sampler, which I haven't looked at yet. So this is the one that was called for me, and I can't remember whether it was which of the numbers it was, whether it was the 6 or the 18. Excuse me, I should have got this out beforehand. There we go. So this is the chart. It's called A Most Noble Pursuit, and it came out in 2006, and it was a sort of amalgamation of all of these designers, and they did each a block. Now I'd already started that block, and my Whip Go was to do one block. Now there's two blocks that I don't particularly care for, so I'm going to leave them out. I don't think that they necessarily sit quite as well with the rest of the piece as the others. 8 of the blocks to me seem to be in a, not necessarily a similar style, but in that it corresponds, it seems to sit nicely, whereas 2 of them, I think, to me, they jar a little bit, and it's my piece, it's what stitch how I like. So I'm not so keen on that one, and I'm not so keen on that one. So I'm going to do an 8 block instead of a 10 block. I've already started that one, so this was the one that I was doing today, or doing this week, which is the one with the girl with, I can't work out if it's a deer or a dog. It says, the murmur of the summer streams is best to soothe a lady's dreams. And this is where I am. So this block is the one that I'd already started, and this block, if I just turn that around there, is where I am already. This is on a piece of 40 count linen that I hand dyed myself. I've just got these 2 disembodied, rather pale, skinny looking arms. And the outline of the deer. I need to order some more 844, which is the border. I'm sure I've got it somewhere, but I can't find it. But this is a pretty much full coverage block, so I think I may have overstepped my hope of getting it done in a month, but at least it's started, at least it's back out and it's started. I'm using the DMC conversion-ish. Usual with me. I have heard from other people who are doing this chart that the DMC doesn't really give you the look of what's on the front cover anyway. So I was like, well, I'll just do I'll have a look at it, I'll see what I think. If I want to change it, then I'll change it. So this lady's dress, which is in that kind of peach colour, is not necessarily a colour that I would gravitate to very much. And because I've got a darker linen, I felt that I could go with a darker fabric for her dress. So this sort of more, it's not a purple, it's more of a, I can't even remember what colour it was, that would have been helpful, wouldn't it? It's more of a like a burgundy, a purpley burgundy, if that's such a thing. Again, don't get me to come and decorate your house, you'll have all sorts of colours going on. It's what the colour of the dress is going to be. So it's going to be a little bit more of an autumnal colour, and I think it will sit nicely with that block next to it. But this is a big project. This is going to take quite a long time, which is part of the reason why I wanted to put it on the whip go board, so that I'm actually working on it and getting it out and using it. And then it came along to the 13th, and I was watching, I can't remember who it was. Anyway, somebody was talking about dark October stitching, and I was like, oh, it's the 13th. Ooh. Lots of beeping going on outside. It's probably just two farmers that know one another. So I thought, oh, I better get something out for Halloween. And this is also on my whip go board. So it may be that I end up, excuse me, finishing this project, and then I'll just have to cross it off when the number's actually called. But it's the Blue Flower Halloween Parade. Now this is actually my favourite chart that was released last year, and I stalked Arts and Design's website to get hold of it, because they had it first in the UK, and it's called Halloween Parade. And I had only done part of this dog and this little dog under here, who's got a lion costume on, obviously. So this is where I am now. I was originally just going to stitch on it for the 13th, but I think I've got 3 days in it now. So you can see this is what I had before. So I had on Halloween this dog here and this dog here, which is wearing the Halloween lion costume. And so this is what I have done. This is not going to want to hold up very well. So I've done the dog in the bee outfit, part of the basket, some of the woman, a bit of the tree, the dog in the tomato on the pumpkin, and the peacock cat. And I can't put this down. I absolutely love stitching on this. So we'll see how we go. I might end up getting it finished this time, and as I said, I'll just tick it off on a whip go board, but obviously I can't cross it off until that month, that number is called for that month. But I'm so happy with this. And this is stitched, as I said, on this 40 count that I hand dyed myself. And I actually think that when this is done, I will get it framed. I'm going to put it there. I can't see what I'm showing you, but I'm hoping it's right. So I worked on that. And the other thing I did was I had a little new start. So with my January, I had another new start. And I'm laying this one squarely at the feet of Made by Michelle McGraw. Now, Made by Michelle McGraw likes to do little pillows for her dough bowl, and she particularly likes to do the characters that are from a company called Good Morning Maui. Now, Good Morning Maui have released a Harry Potter one, and I love Harry Potter. So I purchased the download. Have I got the front cover of it? Yeah, there's the front cover. And this is called Harry 1 because this is based on the first book. So you've got Harry, Hermione, Ron, you've got Professor McGonagall, Dumbledore, you've got Snape, you've got Draco Malfoy, the train, and the guy who had Voldemort in his turban. Oh, how silly. It'll come to me. I'll put it across the bottom of the screen because that's going to really bug me because I love Harry Potter. And so what I thought I'd do was I would do what Michelle does. I'll pick a couple of characters, make a little ornament or a little pillow for my dough bowl. This is the really bad thing. This is why it's Michelle McGraw's fault. I haven't even got a dough bowl. So I've decided to make something for something that I don't actually have. So, two choices. I might end up buying a dough bowl, or I quite fancy a tiered tray of some kind. Either way, it's not going to go wrong. The principle is brilliant. So I have started on a piece of 32 count fabric. I just threw something over there somewhere. I think it was a piece of bit of cotton. So this is my fabric. It's blowing out a little bit on the one side, maybe over here it's a bit better. So this is a piece that I hand dyed. I had dyed it once and I didn't quite like the colour of it, so I dipped it in some alum mordant, and then I used some Procyon dye on the top of it, a darker blue Procyon dye. And I didn't leave it for very long. I did it in a plastic bag, and then I actually did bake it in the oven, again mainly because it's so cold in the garage where I normally leave things to dry. It wouldn't have dried. It would never have dried. So I have started Hedwig. So my first little pillow or ornament I think I'm going to do is Hedwig and then Privet Drive, and I might move the Privet Drive underneath Hedwig so he's actually sitting on it, and then fill the gaps in with some of these letters that he's carrying. So Harry's letter to Hogwarts that he got in the first book. So thank you, made by Michelle McGraw. I'm gonna probably entitle this video Michelle Made Me Do It. The other thing that I did this week, again, was influenced by Michelle. She showed in her Whip Parade, she showed a piece that she had done on this amazing fabric, and the fabric was by Fabric Flair, and it was called something like Speckled Hen or Speckled Egg, and it was a brilliant fabric, amazing fabric. And I went on to Fabric Flair to see if I could find it, and I couldn't. There is a website called Sew It All, which I'll link down below, which sells Fabric Flair in the UK. I think they're the UK distributor for them, but I may be wrong on that score. But anyway, they've got loads and loads of Fabric Flair. So if you're looking for some fabric, they've got plain, they've got the patterned, they've got the printed, everything. It's really, really good resource, and they're really quick. But they didn't have this one. So what I had done was I had purchased from Amazon, just before I told you lot about it, I had purchased some 32 count splash. So, you know, Zweigart does the splash fabric. I've got a little bit left in white or cream. And I used my Dynaflow paints to try and recreate the same colourway fabric that she had. Now I think hers had a little bit more of a pinky red to it, but I was really, really pleased with the way this came out, and I can't wait to use it, probably for some Halloween stitching, but I'm super pleased. So this is now, I bought a fat quarter of that fabric, and so this is a fat 1/8, this is half of it, and I just love the way that has come out. So I can't wait to use that. Okie dokie. Oh, itchy nose. Everybody gets an itchy nose when they start filming. But, right, Freebie. This, oh, excuse me, this is the freebie this week, and it is by a designer called Marjorie Massey. And she's got lots and lots of charts, but they're not as easy to get hold of. You can buy them. I know Kitten Stitcher carries the printed copies, and a few other people carry the printed copies, but they are more difficult to get hold of. However, this freebie comes from her Facebook, so I will link the Facebook below. If I can find it somewhere else where you don't have to go through Facebook, just in case you haven't got a Facebook account, then I'll link that below as well. But if you are on Facebook, it's really worth following her on Facebook, because she has her charts on Facebook, and if you want to buy any of them, if you email her and tell her which chart you want, there's a code number on the charts, I'll show you one of mine in a minute, and tell her which one you want, she will accept a PayPal payment, and then she will email you the chart so you can get it as a PDF download, and that's how I got mine. But this is the freebie that she has put out, and it's called, actually I don't know if it's got a name, it just says Season's Greetings and Merry Winter, so that's her greeting to everyone. But she's put out this beautiful chart. Obviously you could do it monochromatically, you could do whatever colours you want. It's called Winter in this edition, but I'm going to put a picture up here as well, because there's also a French version of it which says Hiver on the bottom. So you could do either, and I printed the winter one out, but part of me's thinking I might do the Hiver one just for something a little bit different. So that is the chart there. I don't think you could stitch from this. It's a free one anyway, go and get it from her. And I thought, because I haven't shown it for a while, I showed it in my whip parade, but I haven't shown it for a while since then, I thought I would show you my Marjorie Massey project that I've got going, which I seem to have put somewhere very safe. 2 seconds. Here we are. That was fortuitous anyway. It gave me a little minute to just push away the stuff I've already done and to pull out the things that I've still got to show you. Now this is the chart that I've got from her, which is probably, if you've seen one of her charts, it's most likely to be this one. It is called Quaker Street? I'm sure it's called Quaker Street. Yeah, Quaker Street. It doesn't say on the front cover, but it says on the inside. So this is the one that I have got from her. And so in order to get this, all I did was I emailed her and I said I wanted chart FQ1, please. And so she sent me the instructions on how to send her a PayPal payment, and then she just emailed it to me. So this is my only chart that I have got going on 46 count. And I haven't done any more on this since the whip parade, but if you haven't been to the whip parade and you've only just joined me, this is where I am. So it's charted monochromatically, and I started monochromatically. I said I'm going to do this red, and so I started red using Silks for You. And I was like, oh, a little bit of black would look nice with that. So then I started with the black, and I was like, I quite like a little bit of blue in that. And so I added some blue. So this is why, actually, I quite often set out to stitch things monochromatically, but not many of them end up being monochromatic. So let's bring this up a bit closer. So this is a piece of 46 count. Sorry, I've got a horrible, horrible shadow there. This is a piece of 46 count that I hand dyed myself, so it's a little bit, it's got quite a lot of mottling in. Even though it's a light colour, it's got quite a lot of mottling in it. And I have done most of the word Quaker and part of some of the first building. So I've got quite a bit to go. I'm going to do the same as I've been doing. So I'm going to do the blue along the top, and then the black buildings and the red lettering. There, it's all Silks for You, one strand of Silks for You. The blue actually was a solo dye that I got in a grab bag, and I haven't got, there you go, I haven't got a massive amount of it, so I'm hoping that one strand on 46 count is going to be enough to do along the top of those motifs there. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be. We'll just carry on. It'll be fine. So go along and grab the freebie. Plans. I'm going to try and do a bit more work on my Most Noble Pursuit. Or I think you might hear the dog barking. I'm sure I can hear people approaching on a bike and a small child screeching. So yeah, there's the door closing. So plans for this week. I am going to do a bit more work on my Most Noble Pursuit. I'm going to... Oh my goodness me. Did you hear that? Can I stay here? Shall I just pretend I'm not here? I'll hide. We'll hide. We'll hide, shall we? Don't make any noise. So I'm going to do that. And then this one has been calling to me. And I bought this last year from Fobbles. And I've got all the threads. I bought it kitted with the threads. And it's Thread Whip Primitives Beggar's Valentine. And I bought it last year in January to have like a Valentine's piece. But they were out of stock on a couple of the threads. And so because they were on back order, I just put it aside and I thought I'll do it for next year. And I've had that in the back of my mind for the last couple of weeks to get that out. And I think I'm going to do it on this piece of fabric that I showed last week. I'm probably going to do the Liz Matthews freebie from last week on as well, which is a piece of 36 count Picture This Plus vellum, which I got as part of my monthly subscription through Patchwork Rabbit. And to finish off, just a little bit of haul. I picked up a couple of these from one of the Stash and Load websites. So this is Country Cottage Needleworks Forest Snowfall, which I really like. And this one I've never seen before actually. It's called I See Trees of Green by Heartstring Samplery. And the text is from the Wonderful World song. So it says, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. So I really like that one. And as I said, before I told you guys about Amazon, I did order a couple more things because I knew what would happen. So this is a 32 count Zweigart linen in Sweet Pea, which is a really nice colour. There's a chart which is called Jingle All the Way, and I can't remember who did it, but it's on that colour, and I've really liked that chart for a long time, so I might end up with that. This is just a piece of 32 count blue grey Murano. It's a long half, that one. And then this one is a piece, a fat quarter of granite in 32 count as well. And the last thing that arrived was a piece of happy mail from a lovely lady called Pamela in the United States, who, when I put out a call asking if I could, if anyone could find the Peacock, Manor at Peacock Hill chart by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. Actually, it just says Brenda Gervais on the front. She messaged me literally on the same day as that the other lovely lady messaged me and said that she would gladly send it to me. So I will be sending back the one that I borrowed with grateful thanks and a little present, a little something in the package, and my undying thanks go to Pamela. And of course, because I've been sent this one for free, when I've stitched it, I will pass it on. So it could be quite a while. That's why it's nice to have my own copy, just because I would feel that I was stopping somebody else if I was borrowing a chart. Even though I try and do it as fast as I could, I would still feel that I was holding somebody up who might want to stitch it and it belongs to them. So I am so grateful for that. So I hope that you have a lovely week coming up, a really good stitchy week. We're fast getting towards the end of January, which is incomprehensible to me. But until next week, stay classy, stitchers.